Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. In The Girl with All the Gifts, humanity is nearly wiped out by a fungal infection that turns people into flesh-eating hungries. At a military facility, researchers are studying infected children who retain intelligence and emotions. Melanie, one of these children, forms a bond with her teacher, Miss Justineau. When the base is overrun, Melanie, Miss Justineau, and a few others, including scientist Dr. Caldwell, flee, hoping to survive and find a cure. Dr. Caldwell believes Melanie's unique biology could save humanity, but Melanie gradually understands that she represents the next stage of evolution rather than a cure for humanity. In a climactic choice, Melanie releases fungal spores to ensure the spread of the infection, completing humanity's transformation. She leaves Miss Justineau alive, recognizing her as the bridge between generations and entrusting her with teaching a new era of hybrid children who will inherit the world. The film begins inside a prison in a military facility, where this prison houses children who have turned into zombies. The purpose of this prison is to study the children's genes so that scientists can conduct experiments on them, and thus the American government can develop a serum that eliminates the zombies threatening human life. Among these transformed children, there is a girl named Melanie, who is getting ready and putting on her clothes to join her fellow inmates in the prison. The guards arrive and strap her into a wheelchair so they can control her in case she turns into a zombie. After that, she is taken to a room where all the children gather to learn and improve their human side, as they are a mix between humans and zombies. Each child is strapped to a wheelchair in front of their cell number. When Miss Justin, who teaches them history, comes, she asks Melanie why the government has detained them. Melanie answers her that a deadly virus spread across the planet and infected half of the world's population, turning them into zombies that eat human flesh. However, some of the transformed zombies had a fetus in their wombs. After birth, the zombie mother dies, and the fetus becomes a child, a mix between humans and zombies. This child can eat humans when hungry, but it possesses better awareness and perception than a full zombie. After the class ends, Melanie returns to her cell and finds that the soldiers have brought her dinner, which consists of a plate full of worms, because she is one of the zombie children and does not eat like a normal human. The next day, Dr. Caroline, who is responsible for the research and the invention of the serum that will eliminate the zombies, visits her. Caroline visits all the children and asks them some questions to assess their behavior, conducting experiments and research on one of them periodically to be able to create the serum. However, she pays special attention to Melanie because she is a smart child and understands quickly, unlike her peers. Dr. Caroline asks Melanie to choose a random number between 1 and 20, and Melanie chooses the number 13. After a while, the soldiers come to take Melanie out of her cell, and she notices that all the children have left except for the child in cell number 13. And when she reaches the study room, she discovers that child number 13 is missing, and she understands that Dr. Caroline took him for an experiment. During history class, Justineau asks the children to write a story from their imagination in their notebooks. It is related to Melanie, and she loves it because it reminds her of her little daughter who died in front of her. All the children refuse to write a story, except for Melanie, who writes her story with enthusiasm. After finishing, Melanie reads her story to her classmates. The story is about a sick girl who loves her mother and lives far away from her, but she fights the illness to live with her mother again. However, the girl dies in the end and does not achieve her dream. Justineau is deeply affected by Melanie's story and cries. She then approaches her to express her love, but suddenly the alarm goes off and Captain Parks, the prison warden, comes and reprimands her for trying to touch Melanie, as it is forbidden for anyone to touch the children because it might trigger their hunger and turn them into zombies that eat humans. To confirm his words, Captain Parks approaches another child, who turns into a zombie and tries to eat his arm. And then the other children also transform, except for Melanie, who can control herself. After that, all the students return to their cells, and when Melanie returns to her cell, Captain Parks comes and asks her why Justineau touched her. Melanie tells him that she hates him, but she loves teacher Justineau very much because she is the only one who treats her kindly and appreciates her worth. Here, Parks gets angry and orders the guards to leave her tied to her chair as punishment. After he leaves, Justineau comes and sees Melanie bound, so she tries to untie her, but Melanie smells her and starts to turn into a zombie. However, she tries to control herself and asks Justineau to leave the cell immediately. Justineau quickly exits and covers herself with a special substance that prevents her from being affected by Melanie the zombie's bacteria. After a while, Dr. Caroline comes and asks Melanie to choose a random number to select a child from the zombie children for an experiment. Melanie chooses the number of her cell because she doesn't want anyone to die because of her after what happened to child number 13. The next day, Captain Parks comes, and instead of taking Melanie to the classroom where she studies daily, he takes her out of the building and shows her a group of zombies surrounding the military facility they are staying in. Then he takes her to Dr. Caroline lab, where she intends to conduct experiments on her body. Caroline tells Melanie that she has to kill her in order to take a part of her brain and use it to prepare the serum that will cure the zombie transformation disease. Caroline administers a strong anesthetic to Melanie, and as soon as she loses consciousness, they tie her to the bed and prepare to begin the dissection. But, by coincidence, Teacher Justino sees what is happening, grabs a fire extinguisher, and declares that she will not let anyone kill Melanie. Caroline tries to calm Justino and sprays her with an anesthetic to make her lose consciousness, then orders the guards to take her away from the lab. Caroline explains her position to Melanie, clarifying that she does not wish to harm her, but is compelled to autopsy her body for the purpose of creating the serum. The guards push Justino away and begin preparing for the autopsy. Suddenly, the zombies begin to storm the military facility and tear apart the soldiers who resist them. Caroline notices that her skin has been bitten and that the infection is starting to show. Caroline quickly escapes from the lab, leaving Melanie tied to the bed. After a while, Melanie wakes up, takes a scalpel from the nearby table, uses it to free herself, and manages to escape. When you leave the lab, you discover that the zombies have completely taken over the facility, devouring the remaining soldiers. Melanie starts searching for Justino to save her before the zombies can turn her. Melanie meets Justino and helps her escape. They climb into a military vehicle belonging to Captain Parks, which contains Dr. Caroline and 2 other soldiers. Everyone is forced to flee the military facility that has been completely overrun by zombies. During the escape, Parks notices that Melanie is in the cart and wants to kill her since she is one of the zombies. Justino intervenes and defends her, asserting that Melanie is just a child and that she won't hurt anyone. Parks agrees to keep Melanie, but only after she is carefully restrained. They set off in the cart and continue their journey, but they find themselves forced to stop at a river to replenish their water supply. Suddenly, they are attacked by a group of zombies, and the soldiers manage to defend themselves, but one of them gets injured and starts to transform, prompting Parks to kill him. After that, they decide that their next destination will be the city of London, which is considered the last stronghold of humanity on Earth. On the way, the group arrives at an abandoned city teeming with sleeping zombies. They apply an antibacterial ointment on their bodies so that the zombies cannot smell them, and they quietly sneak out of the city. But Dr. Caroline spots one of the zombies moving with a stroller. Caroline approaches to see if there is a living child inside, but she finds a group of rats eating its corpse. Because of this movement, a group of zombies in the area wakes up and starts attacking them, but Parks, Justin, and the rest of the soldiers manage to escape to an abandoned hospital. There, the group spends the night and takes the time to rest. At that moment, Melanie is talking to Dr. Caroline and asks her why she is a hybrid between humans and zombies. Caroline explains that zombies were originally humans who contracted a deadly bacterial infection that turned them into creatures that feed on human flesh. She also explains that Melanie was found in a hospital with a group of children whose mothers had died from the infection during pregnancy, causing the infection to be transmitted to the fetuses. At night, Parks talks to Justino and admits that Melanie is attached to her. Justino confirms that Melanie is different from the other zombies, and that she is a special child, confident that she will do her utmost to protect them. Justino bets on Melanie, believing that if they feel she is one of them, she will remain loyal to them. Otherwise, she might turn into an enemy among the zombies. Meanwhile, Melanie is talking to Kieran, Captain Park's assistant, and feels happy because he treats her kindly and doesn't look at her as a zombie, which makes her trust that there is someone who sees her as a human. The next day, they find a large group of zombies sleeping in front of the hospital they are in, and unfortunately, they cannot move. Melanie suggests that she go out and lure the zombies away from the hospital, and she tells them that she is the only one capable of carrying out this mission because the zombies won't harm her since she is one of them. They are convinced by her words and allow her to leave the hospital, and Melanie successfully sneaks among the zombies without any problem. And when she moves away from the hospital, she sees a cat and feels hungry, so she takes the form of a zombie and eats it. After that, she enters an abandoned house and finds a small dog, takes it, and heads towards the hospital to use it as bait to lure the zombies away from the hospital. Indeed, her plan succeeds, and she returns to the hospital. Parks puts a mask on her face and ties her hands in case of any emergency because he suspects that she might turn and attack them. After that, they all move on the road to London. On their way, they notice the zombie corpses turning into toxic fungal. Dr. Caroline tells them that these fungal are abnormally toxic, making them more dangerous than the bacterial zombie infection. They continue on their way, and after a long distance, they notice that they haven't encountered any zombies nearby. But suddenly, they see a large mass of fungal, and Caroline tells them that if this fungal is destroyed, it will spread the infection through the air, and all humans in the world will turn into zombies, and humanity will be doomed forever. Fortunately, they find a mobile lab vehicle belonging to the army, and when they get into it, they try to contact anyone from the army to send them a plane. But as usual, the signal is weak, and no one hears them. Meanwhile, Melanie feels hungry and tells them that she needs to go out and distance herself from them because she might turn at any moment. They let her go out to look for food, and Kieran follows her to look for food for them too. On her way, she notices a group of zombie children like her hiding in a store. One of them comes and tells them that he saw a human in their area, so they all set off to chase him down to eat him. Melanie realizes that they are going to hunt Kieran, so she tries to find a way to save him. On the other hand, Dr. Caroline talks to Justino and tells her that she was infected with blood poisoning when she hit the zombie in her lab, and that she will die within 2 days because of this poisoning. She also tells her that she has discovered the serum formula that will save humanity from the zombies, and for this formula to succeed, Melanie's body must be dissected to obtain her brain and spinal cord. Justino insists, as usual, and tells her that she won't let anyone harm Melanie no matter what. Before Justino could finish her sentence, Melanie came and told them that some zombie children had caught the scent of Kieran and were on their way to catch him. So, Parks and Justino go out with her to save him, but the children reach him before they do, attack him, and eat him. When they reach the place where he is, they find him dead, and it becomes clear that the zombie children are surrounding them. Melanie attacks the leader of the children and kills him to scare them. After that, she takes Parks and Justino, and they return to the car again. As soon as they enter, they smell an anesthetic, and all lose consciousness, only to find out that Caroline did it to be able to dissect Melanie's body and take her brain and spinal cord to prepare the serum formula. Melanie wakes up and threatens Caroline that if she tries to sedate her again, she will attack her and turn her into a zombie. Caroline tries to reason with her and tells her that the future of all humanity depends on her, and that if she doesn't agree to the dissection, her beloved teacher Miss Justine might also turn, and she would never be able to talk to her again. Melanie is convinced by her words and decides to sacrifice herself for Justin. Before the operation begins, Melanie asks Caroline if she sees her as a human or a zombie. Caroline replies that she is a zombie with human genes, and tells her that if the fungal they saw on their way spread in the air, the human genes she has will gradually disappear, and she will fully turn into a zombie. Melanie thinks for a moment, and then decides not to sacrifice herself, telling them that if she were a zombie, she wouldn't have to sacrifice herself for humanity. She gets out of the car, and Caroline chases after her, but suddenly, the zombie children attack her and eat her. At that moment, Melanie feels frustrated and sets the toxic fungal on fire, leading to the spread of bacterial infection worldwide. Melanie causes all humans to turn into zombies because no one recognized her as a human. They only saw her as a zombie. After that, Parks gets out of the car, smells the fungal in the air, and starts to turn into a zombie. He asks her to shoot him with a gun before he transforms because he doesn't want to become one of those creatures. Indeed, Melanie kills him and returns to the car to check on Justino. She is the only human on the planet after Melanie caused all humans to turn into zombies. After a while, humanity completely ends, and Justino remains trapped in the car, never leaving it due to the fungal spreading in the air. Melanie helps her teach the zombie children to improve their behavior and teach them to speak. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new